Hello. I'm not sure if anyone's going to see this, but it was a last minute decision to go live and open this fabric, and I'm going to see how this goes. Um, I make all of my videos outside, so it's a very natural, uncontrolled environment. So you may hear lots of noises. Like now, I hear the bus up there on the street. Somebody's cutting grass. I think they're taking a break right now, though. So try to get this done before it gets too loud. But you'll also hear birds chirping, which is good. So this is fabric that I put in some fresh olena. Well, what we call it in Hawaii is olena, but it's turmeric basically. These are the pieces. And this one I did I left a bit of it exposed to just kind of have some contrast with white. This one I dyed completely. So we'll open both really quickly and see how it goes. So this one has a lot of white left on it. You can see I didn't what I normally would do when I'm trying to just dye one portion is I would actually come out here and turn it and dye like the other tip as well. But I never did that. So it was just kind of like this side dyed instead of like coming back later and putting this side in also. So this one's going to have a lot of white. And I'll see how it looks and I may decide to re-dye it. I mean, the color looks good. Just more white than I wanted, but and so on these I folded it in using a technique called shibori. And I pretty much do the same kind of fold every time. Like start with an accordion fold and then do a triangular thing. So I'm going to try to refold this, which is going to be challenging for me to do in this short time, but I'll refold that later and put it back in and then maybe just upload a short kind of showing the result of that. Let's move on to this other one, which is probably more promising in terms of like how it turns out. And I'm hoping that there's some white left in there. Looks pretty good. Okay. Hopefully I'm not too close to the camera. It's my first time going live, so I'm learning, but I figured I'd better give it a shot. That looks pretty good. This color is like super intense. I find it to be even more intense than using powder, turmeric powder, which I use also. This one looks pretty good. And so like I was saying, to get more color on it, I could, there's some different things that I could do, in terms of folding it or leaving it in longer or whatever. But this fold, typically it gives like a cute little star burst pattern, which you can kind of see here. But I did one last week with a different type of plant dye that had a little bit more pronounced design on it. But I like this one. It looks good. So that's those two. And I'll just show you really quickly this other dye that I'm doing. This is from the red ginger plant, also called torch ginger, I think. We have a lot of it in our yard, so I use the leaves to dye things with. You boil the leaves and it makes this color, which is very interesting. And this one has some hibiscus flowers in it because my toddler did that. She put some in there, so it's a little, it's a little slimy. Sometimes those flowers sit a while, and it gets you can see the slime. I think if you can see it in the camera, and it also doesn't smell that great. But you know, these are natural sources. These are plants. So after sitting in water for some time, it's gonna probably have an odor. Not all the time, but it happens. Now for this one, I tried like to do this clothespin technique, which I've never done, but we'll see if that helped create like some contrast. And then I don't know. I didn't start out with a completely white piece of fabric. It was just kind of a piece that I had already dyed. So, but dyed lightly. So, it looks like a little bit of contrast. But yeah, you can kind of see some streaks in here, color in white or off-white, and then just all this stuff here gets washed off. And that's how it is. Now this is linen. I've been using a lot of linen lately because I have a bunch of scraps that I bought from somebody, just to try more linen. I normally use cotton. And this dye shows up really well on natural cellulose fibers or plant fibers. I don't at all, I shouldn't say really. I don't use wool or silk or anything like that. It's always cotton or linen. So, but this one shows up really well. Some dyes don't work that great on cellulose fibers, in my experience. But this one always gives pretty good color, as well as the turmeric. Okay, so those are all the pieces that I was going to open today. I'm going to work on getting some more together. This can be squeezed some more. Now you see with this, now this is how you can kind of tell the dye is getting old, because I squeeze it and it's like a lot of the color doesn't really stay. But I know that this is going to last because the red ginger leaf dye is pretty good in general. This looks almost purple now, which is pretty good. But that's that. And I'll show you one more thing really quickly. This is hibiscus that I just have in a jar. Now hibiscus dye doesn't last long, but it's really pretty. You know, short term, but pretty. Right now this is pink. Eventually it's going to turn a purple color. So just letting that sit in the sun. I actually didn't mean to put that back in there. But I'll let this one sit in the sun, and eventually I'll put some fabric in here and see what happens. Okay, so